480 BC. There's a man in this city who will be dead in 3 days. He does not know it yet. This morning, he woke the same way. Every morning since age 7. No fear, no doubt, no hesitation. You are about to spend 24 hours as that man. And what you discover will change the way you see courage, civilization, and sacrifice forever. This is Sparta, not the movie, not the myth, the reality, which is far stranger than either. Using AI trained on ancient Greek records, Spartan law codes, and 2 centuries of archaeological excavation, we rebuilt this day. Nobody alive has lived a day inside Sparta, until now. Every hour, every ritual, every secret, reconstructed for you. You will not just hear this story, you will live it. Let us begin. Where archaeologists dig through Spartan ruins today, 10,000 warriors once trained before sunrise. You open your eyes. It is dawn. You are 34 years old. You have slept in this barracks for 27 years. You are not a prince, not a general. You are an ordinary Spartan warrior, which means something no other civilization ever produced. In 3 days, a message will arrive. The Persian army is at Thermopylae. 300 will be chosen. You will be one of them. Every civilization built walls to protect its warriors. But Sparta had no walls. It did not need them. The Spartan warrior had no home to return to each morning. He had not lived with his own family since age 7. Yet Spartan women were the most legally powerful women in all of Greece. They owned land, ran businesses, commanded respect. The warrior's morning began with one thing: cold water from the Helots river. No warm bath, not ever. Plutarch recorded it. Spartans believed warmth made the body weak. Cold made it unbreakable. Every morning proved them right. The Spartan breakfast was the same every single morning. The same meal eaten for 300 years before this day. But the famous Spartan black broth, melas zomos, was actually served at dinner, not breakfast. And it tasted like punishment. The dawn of Sparta had already broken everything you expected. But the morning that followed held the darkest truth of all. Sparta's economy ran on a secret. Without it, not a single warrior could train. Not a single day of Spartan glory was possible. The Helots outnumbered Spartans 7-1. Every Spartan knew it. Every Spartan feared it. Nobody said it aloud. Thucydides wrote it directly. Most Spartan military decisions were driven not by foreign enemies, but by fear of the Helots. Every year, Sparta officially declared war on the Helots. This made killing them legal, not an atrocity, an institution. The Crypteia was the most terrifying institution in the ancient world. Young Spartan warriors sent out at night to kill. Our warrior passed through the Crypteia at age 18. He has never spoken of what he did during those months, not once. But that is not even the most interesting part of the Spartan morning. The training ground held a secret nobody expected. Plutarch recorded that Spartans sang as they marched into battle. Their war cry was not a shout, it was a hymn. Here is what nobody talks about. Sparta produced some of the greatest poets in Greece, including a woman named Alcman. The morning had shattered the Sparta you thought you knew, but midday held the moment that defined every Spartan warrior forever. By midday, the training intensified. But the most brutal thing Sparta did to its boys happened long before this warrior was born. At age 7, the state took every Spartan boy from his mother. He would not live at home again until age 30. Our warrior remembers that moment. He was that boy. He did not cry. Crying was forbidden. Not then. Not ever. But that is not even the most interesting part of the Spartan agoge. What followed was unlike anything else in the ancient world. Plutarch recorded boys dying at this altar rather than showing pain. Sparta honored them, called them the finest of all. You are probably thinking, this is monstrous. But understand what Sparta was trying to create, and whether it worked. A Spartan warrior's greatest fear was not death. It was dropping his shield, abandoning the man standing beside him. Most historians stop at the battlefield, but what they miss about Spartan midday changes everything you think you know. Sparta had no currency for 200 years, iron bars too heavy to carry. Wealth was an enemy like Kyrgyz designed out of existence. Every Spartan warrior contributed food monthly to his mess. A man too poor to contribute was expelled from citizenship entirely. A Spartan warrior who showed cowardice in battle was called a trembler. His punishment lasted every remaining day of his life. Our warrior passes him without looking. Every Spartan does. The trembler is Sparta's most effective weapon against its own warriors. And this is where it gets truly strange. Sparta had a voting system for social membership older than Athenian democracy itself. The message from the ephors arrived at midday. 300 names, read once. No warrior asked why they were chosen. Midday in Sparta had shattered every illusion. But the afternoon held the moment this warrior had trained his entire life for. 300 men chosen from thousands, not the strongest. The selection criterion Sparta used was more calculated than strength. The one thing that could destroy a Spartan warrior was not Persian spears or numbers. It was being left behind at Sparta. Here is what nobody tells you. King Leonidas selected these men himself. He chose men he knew would not survive, starting with himself. Herodotus recorded Leonidas's exact farewell words to his wife Gorgo before leaving. She asked what to do. He said, "Marry well." Our warrior returns home one final time. She already knows. Spartan wives always knew before the announcement came. Here is what nobody talks about. He stands in that doorway for 3 full seconds before she looks up. That is everything. She hands him his shield. Their hands touch on the grip for 1 moment. She says 2 words. He says 2 words. He leaves. Gorgo, queen of Sparta, was asked why Spartan women commanded such respect. She said, "We're the only ones who raise men." Sparta had a pre-battle ritual that confused every enemy who witnessed it. Warriors combed their long hair, elaborately, publicly. Herodotus recorded that Persian scouts reported this to Xerxes. His Spartan advisor Demaratus said, "They are preparing to die and to kill." When you understand the hair ritual, you understand Sparta completely. They were not preparing their appearance, they were completing themselves. That was just the afternoon. What came with the evening, what he did alone at the river, nobody else ever saw. He walks to the Eurotas River alone, not training, not performing. For the first time today, simply a man at a river. But that is not even the most extraordinary thing about what happened at this river. He is not alone. He was never alone. The afternoon had revealed what Sparta made him. The evening would reveal something Sparta could never make or unmake, what he was. The final Sicyon dinner is the same as every other. This is the point. Sparta does not have last meals, only meals. Sparta had religion, but not the way Athens did. Sparta's gods were practical. They required results, not prayers. When you understand Sparta's religion, you understand Why 300 men could march towards certain death without hesitation. The warrior returns to his barracks for the last time. He lays his weapons out one by one, checks each one in the dark. Around him, his barracks companions doing the same. 15 men in one stone room, checking the same weapons for the last time. You are probably thinking, did these men speak of what was coming? The answer is the most Spartan thing of all. Sparta had a word, lakonikos, speaking in brief, direct statements. It is where our word laconic comes from. They meant it. The warrior lies on his mat. He does not sleep yet. He looks at the barrack ceiling for the last time in his life. He thinks of his son, 8 years old, already in the agog, already becoming what his father became. The cycle complete. The warrior closes his eyes. This is the last thought before sleep. Not fear, not glory. Just the boy's face. Just that. Sparta at night is completely dark. No street lighting, no torches in the streets. The city trusts its warriors to protect it. Evening had shown you what Sparta built. Night passed in silence. But the dawn that came next changed everything forever. He rises before dawn. 2 days after the scene we began in, the same motion, the same barracks, everything different. You are probably thinking, what does a man feel, knowing this is his last morning? The answer is what Sparta trained out of him. The 300 gather at the north gate at pre-dawn. No speeches, no ceremony. Just 300 men and their equipment. King Leonidas takes his position at the front. He does not look back at Sparta. He's already said everything that needs saying. The march begins in silence. No drums, no war cry. Just the sound of 300 pairs of sandals on stone and the singing. The question on your mind right now is the same question every person has asked for 2,500 years. Why did they go? They were not ordered. Sparta's kings could not compel a warrior to his death. They chose this. And here is the part that will surprise you most. Sparta sent only 300. But they expected to hold. And they did. But that is not even the most extraordinary thing about what happened at Thermopylae. The real story has nothing to do with the battle. Thermopylae held for 3 days. Every Spartan warrior died, and Sparta won the most important victory in Western history. Where the memorial stands today, 300 men once held the line between civilization and its end. When you understand what happened at Thermopylae, you understand why Western civilization exists at all. This is the reason. Historians call this the Spartan paradox. The most controlled civilization ever built produced the most uncontrollable act of freedom. The Spartan paradox is this: you cannot build men capable of choosing death freely without first removing everything except the essential. Once you understand the Spartan paradox, you cannot look at courage the same way. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the completion of training. The man who died at Thermopylae, his name is unknown. No Spartan warrior's individual name survived. Only the formation survives. 480 BC. There is a man in this city who will be dead in 3 days. He does not know it yet. Now you do. Subscribe, hit like, and tell us. Which ancient civilization should we live next? We'll see you in the past.